All right, everybody, let's get to it on a Thursday. What's going on? Settle on in. Come on back. Let's talk a little crypto to get started today off. On a mild summer Thursday here, Nasdaq was down a bit, down 140. S&P. I mean, this is not big stuff. This is end of the summer. Not really totally end, but you know, dead part of the summer. I need more coffee. I don't know that's going to be that kind of a show, but it'll work. How are you guys today? David, Victoria, Alec, Jasper, Mr. Pure? What's going on? Rogelio. Let's dive on the crypto today. I want to do a follow up from Tuesday and talk about what are some discovery potential candidates. What things are really going to do something in terms of a major move where we're seeing new cycle highs. We know the problem with crypto space. It's too many trash projects, too many dead markets, and you get that. Listen, you get that same deal in the stock market. Do you go play penny stocks when you've got 10, 20 of the best tech companies that you could top market cap that you can just roll into? Know that they're going to be around, or do you go play with like red pink sheet tech stocks for pennies? Still have to pick the markets. The crypto market itself is I just think it's on course. So everybody's why is everybody freaking out? Anybody want to explain this to me? Why people are freaking out about Bitcoin and the rest of it? I'm really surprised. I just like maybe it's just a social media magnification factor. I mean, guys, Bitcoin is 113,000, and it's not even 10% off the all-time high. So, what's that look like? Here's this trend channel on the daily for Bitcoin, just on track. I think you're seeing. I think what everyone's wanting is this crazy God candle, 50,000 point God candle, and you're not going to get it like that. We're going to get into a frenzied time, probably run it into the end of the year or into November. But, I think the kind of the rationale of this mega explosion thing, like what we saw here, 2020 cycle from like 40 to 60. That's futures chart anyway. I just think you're going to have especially with all the institutional participation, you're going to have this kind of reaction, and the volatility is already a multitude of what S&P 500 is. I think Sailor says it's 5x. Maybe. Right now, guys, it's a pause. Another I really we were so damn close to hitting that moon trigger. Okay, 115 for me was the trigger already. And then the 4 hour time frame was like this, where we were a stretch right above that hop level. And I thought it was right here where I'm going to show you guys, and I said this on Tuesday, okay, that the trigger for me is this once above, we were back above 123, 122.5, 120. I was like, okay, that's where we start mooning, because this looks like it's going to break out and then not look back. All right, I still say we're triggered. Maybe not moon yet, or should I say super moon, but I'm thinking we are back at 128, 130 new highs sooner than how people are feeling now. Even certain people are saying, "Oh, Bitcoin could go under 100K." I don't. No way. Bitcoin did the 100K work. So I'm looking for 160. That's the big extreme upside by year's end. Maybe give me till the first week of January. especially if the second half of the cycle is supposed to be on that time window that we discussed on Tuesday. All right? It just is. And as a technician, somebody look at charts, likes to make assumptions of future action based on past history, especially with the patterns. Okay, that it is, this thing does rhyme real close in those cycles. So I think where we are right now, 111, 112, is it's like 95, 98K from 2 months ago and 74K from back in April. It's that kind of progression of lows. And guys, let's just look, we do harmonic patterns here. Why? Because they show us the zones, the areas where the natural turning points are supposed to happen. And what goes on there? What's the number one phenomenon that goes on at these patterns? Some kind of reaction. And when we can gauge a lot of information by what happens at that reaction, after that reaction. So there's a bearish pattern going back to May. It gave you a reaction, 100K down to 95K. That was it. 30 bars later, you're much higher. Another bearish deep crab back from July, 124. Okay, almost a perfect type 1. But again, still only a reaction and then back up. So reaction back up. Okay? We agree that those harmonic patterns mean something. They are a yield sign, a signpost of future price action. Okay, so if you're getting reactions time and time again off of these, that until that is broken, until there's some kind of larger bearish development, you go with that. That's how I know. And then I still say that the scenario goes like this. So I'm casting here into the future, but again, if this is right and these successive lows are right, then you come back here into the next 30 days. Let's get out of August. But let's start the rebound like in the next day or two. And then rebound back up, 128, hop level, poke another high, maybe come back down again, get slammed again. People will go back and say, oh, what's going on with Bitcoin? Ethereum, different creature. We talked about that last time, really quick. I mean, I guess ETH is back into the discussion now, or I mean, before it is too late. But I still say that Ethereum, go to the weekly off of that low is, a 382 would be really not much. Kind of natural progression here. Go up, 382. We talked about that's like 3540, 3550. And in fact, if you did and then you exploded off of that, it would be great continuation behavior. So there are a few other things that are, I'm looking at that are at interesting levels, but this is still clearly in development. Ethereum getting rejected and not doing the move is okay for me. If anything, I mentioned this before. Like if we can come back, do a 382, and if that's what this is, check it out. If this is a new B point, think about it this way. There's X. Okay, X to A, down. Sorry. There's B. B is going to be up at the 886. There you go. X, A, B. Well, let's put D up where it needs to go in a second. C's down there. So where's the D point now? Old assumption was 1276K because that was a 786. If this shifts the whole thing from just talking within XABCD framework, MW structures, W886, that's what that B point is. All right, then come on down for 382. Do the 382, and then we really could have a whole different argument of if this is going price discovery, where Ethereum has this nasty retracement. Let's do it. Sell it off into September for the next 20 days. Really hard. Another 700, 800 lower. Get to that 30, 3,500-ish, something like that. Okay, off of that B point. Here we go. Come down into here. Something like that. 34. On the weekly, it is. It's like 3,400. But, get it to mid 3,000s. That would set this whole thing up. Oh, by the way, I got to say, this could be a really quick C point. C point just needs to be a few bars, minimum. But then you'd get this creature. And now you're talking potential for ETH, which is 1618 price discovery, which is our assumption on basically all of these. That's our natural assumption on total. A lot of the crypto market cap plays. But we know also, guys, if we get that deep crab kind of scenario for ETH, 1618 for a deep crab is just a starting point. That creates the range, 1902 topside. And then you're talking higher measured possibilities for Ethereum to finish the cycle however it goes, or even into the future. Right now, well, really, before the latest surge, your best possibility was Butterfly 127, which still would have been 6K, which still would have been like a 2x for the cycle. I think those are great returns. Not great for crypto, but there you go. I think of all the ones that the big caps that are sticking out, we got to start looking at Bitcoin, Binance Coin, for a few different reasons. Let me get the Binance Coin, Binance feed. Binance Coin has an amazing chart, by the way. We talked about this on Tuesday, and I'm not saying go out and FOMO, but this is definition of what the whole new cycle should be about in terms of a technical chart, pattern formations, everything. I think you should go to town on it. And if you're not looking at Binance Coin as one of the top 10 kind of examples of what really should be happening here, I think you're missing a lot. So Binance Coin here had really been something that caught my eye back here in 2020. I didn't know much about the individual plays, but I do remember Binance Coin down at like 20, 30, 40, and then it just exploded. And I was already involved with a couple other things that were doing incredible moves. But Binance Coin probably in principle was a story that definitely had more sustainability. And this thing just remarkable. Like, what was that? It was basically 10 was the low, was the March low. 10 to 700, 650. Okay, 65x, call it. Just remarkable. Does an absolute massive kind of double top here, 2021, 22, really doesn't look good at all. But then what? Typical crypto gives you back 50, 618, sometimes even 786, the total gains. And bottoms and takes 2 more years. But the breakout and the whole thing that you're arguing in terms of a lot of these crypto plays, all right, is this going to be a real new entity? Something that's not only going to be around for a few years, but if the whole thing is going to be kind of an entity that will continue to grow cycle to cycle, well, you've got it here in the chart where, all right, this is, call it discovery phase, absolute explosion phase. You return, okay, you recover the whole bear market. That's great. Well, now this point, and that happened about 3 or 4 weeks ago, with the breakout above the hop, above all-time highs, and the way that it's done it, beyond 725, beyond 750, Binance Coin, you're really saying, okay, this thing is growing to become a different entity, something much bigger than even what you saw on this last consolidation cycle. Minimum Binance Coin, long term, I think easily you're projecting 1618 price discovery, which is like 960. I think a 1902 overspill, and I'll explain why in a second. You really failed it, but 1902 is 1080 or so, 1090, something like that. Above 1,000, I think maybe even 1,100. It's probably nails it for now. And you're at 840. Doesn't seem like a lot, but this is a bigger market play with the kind of chart, kind of trend that even if you were to make a mistake, let's say you bought it at 830, okay, and then it goes to 750. I don't know, got a bad signal or just jumped on it, and took 10-20% drawdown. I'd be fine with it. Because I think if we're right about the cycles, if we're right about what Binance Coin is telling us, okay, the new allocation expansion cycle begins on this breakout. Much like this reminds me of Bitcoin breaking out above 65K, 70K, going to like 100K. A lot of similarities there. The other thing about it that for the way that I look at things and the way that, I've defined things in the whole harmonic work is there is a real critical nature to the all-time 886. Okay, you get to the 886, you have this kind of a bear market, and then you're able to get back to the 886. That's going to tell you a whole lot of whether or not you're actually going to crack 886, okay, and then do something more spectacular. I wish more charts looked like this. I wish there were, I wish we had a lot of S-coin, T-coin style stuff that were breaking out like this at like 2 cents, 3 cents, about to go to 10 cents, something like that. The bigger projection, and this is not a crazy notion, guys, where, okay, let's get it on the, like Ethereum, all right? Don't really have a position in Binance Coin. I don't, but I will be looking for something on a retracement because this is a big breakout in the weekly. And if we're really going to fly, guys, okay, and do a similar crypto expansion cycle, it is still 2618 to 3618, which is, I can't even get it on the chart. See that? That's the cycle. That's your assumption here. If you're crypto bull, 3618 is like 2K on Binance Coin. That's not crazy numbers. And then by the time you get up there, or let's say it's even moderately, let's say it's moderately up 2618. This is like 1500. You got a much better chance of maintaining this rally in the longer term, where then you're I don't know, maybe not swing trading, more accumulation, trying to capture the continuation of these bigger moves where you're in at a point where it doesn't look back. I mean, that's the thought of the whole crypto cycle. That's the whole nature of what people are trying to do with Bitcoin. They're trying to buy it, hold it long enough that then it gets far enough into profit where you never look back. And then so you don't care about the 10-20% fluctuations. All right. one or two more. Binance Coin deep dive, first time in a while. I think it's important. The other one that this kind of reminds me of, or something I mentioned last time that I think we need to warm up to more now, is Chainlink. Um, we have an immediate pattern at the moment, which I like, which is the fact that we've got a bat pattern up here, $24. That's not. I'm not saying jump in here. I'm saying probably get this on a retrace, line it up for the next retracement, because the patterns and the way this is starting to build has possibilities where you want to clear this kind of historic resistance and really get out of this kind of larger hole where Link, like Binance Coin was, all the way down here after this massive correction. How the hell is that going to get back even to the 886? And for me, that's also a way that I've been looking at ratios, been really helpful to categorize where the market move is. Like, okay, right there, that's a 50% retracement off the all-time high. Typical bear recovery. Now, are we really going to do something by coming up Link? Sure, we're running up back into that 886 territory. But I'll tell you what, above 30, 31, that's where larger character changes can happen. Be aware of that. Some of this stuff of like, there's clearly things that are discovery candidates, recovery candidates. There are ones that, as we mentioned last week or last session, ones that are priced recovery, maybe they have limited upside. But we do have a handful of these that like Chainlink, where they clearly are going to be recovery. I don't have an issue saying Chainlink to 48. If it's not this cycle, it's probably within the next year, 2 years. I mean, if I could say, hey, here's something, it's a double in 2 years, you would take it. And that's pretty much what Chainlink looks like. Right now, let it go through the bearish pattern. Would be great to get a bearish retracement to like 19 and then go. But this latest move is, again, there's been a few that have kind of popped out where they've really showed themselves. There was one more. I think it was Tron. I'll come back to that. Let me come back to that. What are you guys looking at? Because there's a few of these that, oh, I know what it was. It was that XDC. Here's the other one. And then I'll take if you guys want to look at a couple of things. So XDC, that's kind of the whole area of XRP and XLM and Stronghold SHX. This one did explosive things, 2 to 15, pulled back, and now we're at another point, okay, shark to 5.0, looking for this just a touch under 8 cents. The bugger won't get underneath there, but looking for larger trend continuation development after we get through this retracement. And I like this because of where it is. Higher level, higher lows, higher dot, even the weeklies even better, where that first collapse cycle, bear retracement, okay, frenzied IPO, that whole retracement's over, and now we are developing something much larger. The final one, and I brought this to everybody's attention last time, and this thing just keeps going. OKB. Anybody on this? Anyone seen this? Because again, this one had amazing price discovery written all over it. And it was, what was that, 120 or something when we were looking at it just on Tuesday? Hold on. Where'd it go? Hold on, let me show you OKB. Oh, let's pull up the market cap too on that one. Pretty amazing. And so that's there you go. I mean, I'm speechless, okay? And this is another one that was two and a half, okay? Not long ago, 2 years ago, that was amazing. 700 million. So now 4.5, going a lot higher. And let's just pull it back here. I mean, look, Tuesday, we were looking at this after the retracement. Now, again, I didn't catch it, but I think it's starting to prove my point. Things are starting to pop off a little bit, enough where, all right, I'm watching this, and this is doing like crypto type things, but this was my point, guys. Insane things can like this can happen when you're riding an uptrend like that was. And I feel like a lot of these that are building, if it's Chainlink or if it's a few others that I mentioned, you want to be here. Successive higher lows, continuing, getting ready for the crazy cycle. I mean, if you're going to hit some home run crypto things in a crazy cycle, they've done this before. That's 2020 shit right there. 5x in 3 days. I don't know. They burned supply, probably burned some more. So you guys know I'm always scouring the market, trying to find the most relevant markets, price action, and then harmonic stuff. Okay, that clues us in on what larger possibilities may be lurking. That's big. I mean, this OKB move is. I would have been surprised, not surprised, had we gone up and then back down. But again, massive surge. That's remarkable. And back in '94, why is there a T2 there? What was there? Oh, I know what it was. It was the bearish pattern all the way there that obviously failed. No confirmation. Okay, I mean we were. There's Tuesday. It was 120. And I thought maybe I was probably saying that that's almost the 886. Absolute annihilation. So let's find more. Take that to heart. Know that I think things are happening, case by case basis. But this really does have all of the kind of the markings of why we want to be looking for trending situations. Let me go the weekly here. Obviously, a little too late at the moment. I don't know. I'd be watching this. This would be great. The day trade's probably bouncing 30 points on the 5 minute chart. Yeah, there you go. That's 240. That's 200. It might be pretty interesting to watch that on a 5 minute base. Something's clearly happening here. Does it go to 10 billion? Because it's only 4 billion now. Clearly this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar creature. That's the way to think about it. And I like what's happening. We said, I think we talked about ARB last time too. That was another one that popped off. I think this one rolled right back down. There are differences, right? There's differences because of where it is relative to its history. Are we breaking out? Are we holding up multi-year highs? Or are you like scraping all-time lows? ARB is probably more in the category scraping all-time lows. I'll give you one more. Tron, guys. I really think I've been looking for an entry on this sucker. And we have a crab pattern. Now, that's not necessarily bad. Okay? If it's super strong, this should fail here. Go up, counter HSI, and blow through the hop, but you're at the hop already. And keep an eye on that. But I think the trend is noteworthy. I think what's happened so far If you're looking at this on the long-term chart, okay, this has not given up anything on the whatever that mega god candle was. That's probably like the first wave, and then you're looking for Tron to continue. I don't know. You guys have any juicy info you can share with me? Let me know. And Tron has the same signature because if you go back 2021, did the same thing, big surge up, retraced it, build, 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 and then you break out. Okay, next cycle wave. That's, this is a whole new paradigm shift of going up. I'm looking for stuff like this because you can get crazy moves like OKB off of charts like this. I don't know anything specific on Tron other than what the harmonics look like, where's confirmation, and then just, building off of this trend here. Hype, that was a good one. Who said that? Hey, what's up, Harry? Hype is another one because uh, hyper liquid, right? Not hyper, but I'm pretty sure that's what you mean by hype. I need a better feed on that. So a lot of these there's still a lot of stuff that's down. I mean, a lot of stuff that's just not doing much. And you got to avoid those. Hype, HYPE USD. All right, did the 886 retrace at all-time highs. Not busting through, but yeah, you could be building here. Give me a pattern. Give me something. Give me a bat. There was a bat, 37-ish down here. Yeah, I could look for that. I like that. Sure. Lino, we talked LCX last time, right? And didn't we have what was that? What was our assumption last time? Just type 2 here. Yeah, well, that's actually not bad. I think that was one where at least we are at a higher low and we're breaking that, piercing that downtrend breakout. Um, okay, I do like that. I like that better than others I've seen. Again, this matters. That matters. I think there's a few others. Oh, there was what was it? Was it QNT? For me, this is my recommendation. Something that caught my eye. No, not QNT. Sorry. No. Let me come back to that. Yeah. Uh, yeah, let me look at one more here. Cardano. I think Cardano is, definitely building, but Cardano's got kind of the adoption issue. I don't think you can quite lump this in with the same as like Ethereum, Solana, Binance Coin. Harmonic, though, it is a Type 2 shark of 55, but we ran into these dots at 92, and 92 has always been the recovery target for this move. I just think you're going to have to get the rest of the market moving in an obvious fashion, and Cardano's definitely not leading it yet. I like where you're at the moment. That's definitely building. It's just question is it going to go soon or is this going to take 3 months? Yeah. Yeah, one more. Well, really quick, I want to show you guys others index. Here's crypto others. So that's the bigger picture here. What's going on? I think surprisingly, with all the junk that's out there, that's still not a bad chart. And I think what you're looking for this to do, get through this whole, it's really T1 is the issue, 280 billion. But get some, I mean, a real breakout behavior because this has definitely been able to hold higher lows. This is kind of a sleeper chart, in my opinion. I would say it's actually ideal harmonically. Only issue is that if we would have had a perfect type 2, I would have said you're done. You're ready to go. So for now, until that resolves itself, I'll be patient on it. I do like what's happening though in the other chart. It's kind of like Ethereum too. I mean, if that's Ethereum 1500, there's the others. We should at least get back to prior, highs from last year. I think I just sense people get overly frustrated with this volatility in crypto in general. Speaking of volatility, Nasdaq's down now 165. S&P off. What was it, 35-ish? I still don't think any of these numbers are that big. We'll jump to stocks in a second here. Yeah, I don't know what's KTA, man. I don't know what KTA is. It's really not even. If it's not even on like MEXC, Kita, no, no, it's brand new. Can't really do much with that. And the new stuff again, guys. If it's a brand new issue, this is something that's what out for 2 months or so. Unless I have something really clear, really not a lot to go on. No. Yeah, I'll get to gold here in a second. I mean, gold, where's that out? 33.80, no biggie. 33.50 is our big number. Really quick, just before I jump out of crypto, the deal on Bitcoin's like this. Okay, we're 112. We have a couple of patterns down there. Oh yeah, the other thing we had is Shark that popped up on the software. I guess it was like Tuesday afternoon. I mean, it was Tuesday night. It completed. T2 generated. No confirmation, but you're also back down here retesting another bullish pattern. So I think 111, that's your support, will remain here. And going into by Tuesday, all right, go back, retest it. But we hit 111 and we probably bounce. That's where I think this ends. The shark that just formed off the top, again, just kind of giving us another summer range. This is, I think it's reminiscent of even like a year ago. Where Bitcoin, this was like 60 something, that was like 62, and this was like 49. We've moved quite a distance, guys. Again, without much retracement. This is our little summer retracement. We get into end of the year, end of the month, and then into the quarter. By September, that's the final setup. So if that's the final setup, then there really is not a lot of room to retrace even on this monthly chart. There's your monthly bars. We should not be violating a prior monthly low, by the way, and last month low was 103, 105. By Tuesday, look for a full turnaround. Oh, the other thing, last thing. Bitcoin is down here about to give us another daily oversold reading, both HSI amplified. Look for that over the weekend. Down here, 112, down around 111. If they do try to flush it, I mean, come on. I'd really be surprised. We'll see. This is just part of that retracement. Okay, a couple more. Why would you want to look at DOT, LL? I know you've put that in the chat several times. because again, I'm this is what we want to be doing on this retracement. We've been looking for this retracement. I was actually looking for the breakout really last week. I thought the retracement was done 2 weeks ago. Regardless, we're still the goal going forward from now into the end of the year, or now into what I think it'll be. It's like Thanksgiving. I really think we're targeting this whole finishing cycle into Thanksgiving, which is not the whole year. But we want stuff that's trending. And this is, I know you put this up last session too, and I saw it and I was avoiding it. But again, it's a larger point. You're scraping all time lows. You're not trending. Your best hope is some kind of recovery bounce. When you see stuff like a real crypto move is the OKB thing, that's the kind of craziness we're all hoping to catch with crypto. You're not going to get it in dot with that kind of a chart, flat out. Be aware of it. Uh, Before I do move on, I did want to say that so there's been a lot of talk about something that CRO, crypto.com, I don't know why they call it Chronos. Okay, I was in on this last cycle, and I caught this last cycle too, back in 2021. So it's always been on my radar. But I mean, I took it to like from down here from like it was 35 or something to 90. I was lucky to get out. But I've always kind of been watching this chart, wondering why this thing isn't valued more. Crypto.com, if you can get valuations on Coinbase and other entities, and you see Binance chart. I think I wanted to mention this, and this is kind of like my gift to you guys. This is one to get on the radar. This is another one to get on the radar. Not buy it yet, but I really like what happened back here about, oh, I don't know, 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. It bottomed out at a really important secondary low. You know, this was the absolute inflection low. We had a higher low, secondary, like a tertiary low. I really like this kind of development in terms of, uh, um, things that if we're looking for things to go from to really be a substantial recovery candidate, like you want a bottom fish. I know you guys, a lot of you guys suggest things to me, but they're all-time new lows and they haven't been bottoming. They're just I wanted to show you the difference. Okay, two bullish patterns back to back, and we have this prior crab, which gives you like a 9 cent general level. And I know this thing went to five, was down at 5 cents. We got to approximate that larger move. You have secondary patterns here. All of that's like 7, 8.5 cents in that area. I would really look at this. Let's say we get another pattern or get some kind of confirmation. This is one that I think could find a really substantial recovery. So keep an eye on that. I didn't bring that up last time. I think you should. There's one or two others on Tuesday. I have one or two more that I like this that I'll bring up. And we do want to line up these candidates now and then get rid of the things that should not even be considered. Sorry, no offense, but DOT is just not in the conversation for the cycle. And maybe if it goes from 2 to 6, that's great. But we're looking for things that have a real chance to bust a move. OKB style. Yeah. No, I save FWOG for Tuesday. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but I haven't looked at it. I know a couple of you guys. Oh, you're killing me. Same deal. Needs more time. Nice pattern. Great. Got to retest. I'll do that in full next time. You guys are chomping at the bit at gold. I'll start there. Jump to stocks. 33.50. Actually, I don't need to spend much time on gold. We're just up here at 33.50. Trying to break out this zone. Remember, November to basically February, early February, good seasonal time for gold. All right. We'll probably be at this area, 3350, for a little while longer. I'm not too concerned. If you got a retracement, hope for a retracement. Some people are looking for gold to get back to 3,000. I'm not one of them. In fact, we probably just hold this 3,300, put in another dot. But don't expect much. We got to get into October before this thing sets up. Let me quick look at the Qs and stocks, okay? Because here we're up here. Nasdaq rolling over down 475 on the Qs. What's going on, guys? What do you think? Is this bat at the hop at 560? Is that anything we should be afraid of? Or are we oversold? I mean, we're deep oversold, and we can keep dropping. So this immediate retrace is still happening. And let it drop. Maybe we're where? We're 560. Maybe we come back, retest 5.25. We got prior gap 530. It would still not be a big deal in the context of what we're looking for, which is the next bullish HSI. So we're oversold there. Obvious kind of retest points is, again, guys, that's the low for the month. We're not even at the 886 retracement of the month. And the summer, don't get me started. I think we're barely at a 382 for the summer on the Qs. Look at it like this, okay? And it does really common. This is not surprising. All right, here we are. This is the summer low, June 21, right there. Okay, the first day of summer. Pretty much just no looking back. So use it like that. Think of it seasonally. Where are we even at the 3? Yeah, we just hit the 382 of the summer rally, which was what? A good, yeah, that was a 10-11% summer rally. June 21 till August, early August, that was it. So 382 or a little 50% pullback. You see what I'm saying? Within the context of the year, it's nothing. And within August, so look, come back, retest the low for August. Okay, not a problem. I think the 886, which is for the month, gets us back to like 555. Why not? Just a mild retracement. This is the retracement we said we wanted to see, especially with the dot. And up on the daily here is better. And can we get that counter HSI signal to turn? That's what you're looking for. That's the Qs. So you're 560. Take it to, let's see, 555 in the short. It could be 555 by easily tomorrow. Come back and hit the 886 for the month. Something lower, we'll know. But I think that's the retrace you want to see. Let that set up. And again, you're positioning this for that typical, who knows, September, early October capitulation, turnaround move. Then the SPY is the same thing. SPY was flushing up around close to 650, rolling back over. Look, we're down 5 days. This is our 5th down day in a row, but honestly, not giving up a heck of a lot of price. Where so far it's a 3, not even. Get out of here. It's a 1% correction. 1% correction. I don't know. People are really, I just find themselves overreacting on things, and like I think of it this way. Great, 5 down days within a uptrend. Get ready. obvious HSI check back is like 627. 886 for the month is 620. So we want that, just like the same way we wanted it at the end of July. Embrace it, because if we're set up for next year, whatever's to come for next year, but if we're expecting market long term to continue in the same way that April really was a gift. It's a little hairy for a couple of days, but in the long term, April was a gift. All right, maybe not that big of a gift, but let's get a nice retracement gift back down here and get some obvious continuation signals. It's I really think in the process getting there day to day, it might seem like a lot more than it is. It's kind of like the gold thing. People, a lot of the gold bugs want gold to go straight to 5,000. No, it's going to take time. But you're actually, the longer it stays up at those levels, the better. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great opportunities. I think there's things like, again, I've said this before, where I said SMCI is one where we're looking for this on the daily. We had our dot was on Monday. Tuesday was like day one. We talked about that. And we're waiting for a green candle. We're waiting for a little bit of a turnaround. All right, still down. Haven't done anything, but after the big drop, coming back down, we're still kind of in that monitor phase. Hasn't turned out of oversold either, but it's close. And it's, there you go, 50, almost 40% correction off the top. A couple more. Let's take a look, follow up at Intel, because Intel, quick up, smack back down. What do? We know the longer term monthly is actually pretty fine. It's an ideal monthly pattern. You've got stuff on the weekly. The trigger of all that's like 1950. The issue is you can't get above that terminal bar at 24.59. And I would wait for a monthly close above this level. It's a lot better than it was, say, 6 months ago, because you've put in a higher low. But that higher low has to hold. Keep an eye. Intel's a major potential turnaround. A lot of people talking about it. I know government might take a stake, whatever. A lot of patterns here. I'm watching this. I'm also watching the deep crab. We're checking back. We look at his counter signal. It's about the only thing I'm not crazy about. But it's more about price action. Close above 24.25, and then something can happen there. But that's also gets into the whole, why would you play something like that when you can just wait for a retracement on Nvidia, which starting to, 180, didn't quite get to the 1618, which is 190, but that's all right. Let this come back down, like the next 4-hour dot. Not there yet. Nvidia, no, didn't get oversold. Just let it come in. I mean, really, the obvious check back was like 169, which it did. What was that yesterday? 168.80. So another setup. I mean, this is really to kind of cut through a lot of the noise. You're looking for another oversold opportunity. This is no top. I mean, people are saying, oh, it double topped, or I don't know where they're coming up with it. Not a double top when you break out the all-time new highs. So look for the retracement. Prior resistance now becoming support. It's pretty obvious, 163, maybe 157. If you got down there, embrace it. I think this stuff is, you're going to get a little pause and then we continue higher. I still think, Nvidia sees 200 or higher before the end of the year. quick look at the SOX index. Again, this thing has just been. This is what's been leading it. The SOX right now. Here we go. Where's the weekly chart? Weekly, monthly, even. Um, yeah, look, a lot of back-to-back action. This is the ETF actually, 253 on the ETF. We did that whole rebound move. Where's the monthly though? That's what I want to show you guys. I think that's on the, oh, there it is. Okay, so I'm watching this. This is a really interesting chart on the semiconductor ETF. Massive type 2. Massive. No confirmation yet. All right, normally, if I was looking at that 5-minute chart, whatever, it's all right, let's watch this 242 area. But I would want at least some kind of confirmation. Not there yet. HSI probably needs 2 or 3 more bars to get overbought. But I'm watching this retest right now, 242. Need a close above 242 to get that continuation. We get the continuation because we don't have confirmation and it's a type 2. Normally I would say, yeah, this will probably run the hop level. But great pattern. The ETF chart probably better than the index. There's the index chart. It is another type 2. When we're retesting the zone, still no confirmation. So track those. Track NVIDIA, track Broadcom, Intel, KLAC. I still think those are the ones to watch for what's going on. Something new, guys. I've mentioned solar in the past, and I think we need to kind of jump on these ETFs and the individual recovery plays. Here's TAN, Invesco Solar ETF. Tell me the pattern, right? All the way up there. Massive recovery. Okay, this is something that, look, back-to-back patterns, alternate bat to bullish bat, should at least get us up to target 1, 63.90. So watch that. I'll show you 1 or 2 plays, but since this has so many of the companies, and I'm watching this, that we just cracked the 50 right here on Amplified. All right, this has got to continue. We do, and Amplified HSI continues to move up. That's how we get to 63. A lot of talk about solar with, the needing power for the power stations, etc. I like that chart. And it's early. You're probably really 1-2 months into that. So get that on the radar. That for solar Edge is probably the one that's got the biggest recovery potential. I mean, that's an amazing chart. Big bat, 886 recovery. There's your confirmation. That was 14 on the monthly. Now 29. I think we could get back to this XA level and then see what happens. Break it down, say weekly levels, a little clearer, but daily or 4-hour at this point. Daily's, it's doubled, and daily looks like this. Right here. Gartley. So let it do its retrace thing. Maybe it could even get back to 20 bucks. I would just wait for the next daily dot. But I like what happened in the last few weeks with the weekly chart, especially on the TAN. All right, so there, and again, watch that. There are a number of these that are setting up where the next retracement, daily oversold, should launch it. What's up, Wayne? You guys want to look at what? Open? Is that open door, right? Okay, why is it doing that? I mean, 50 cents to, nice, 450. Okay. That's recovery. But is that all that is? Because you have the Deep crab up here. Almost hit it. Yeah, I can't really do much with that at the moment. Again, penny stock plays. Just just trade manage it appropriately with the penny stock plays because you're 358. I really can't offer anything on that. I mentioned CXAI a couple weeks ago, and I think you guys misunderstood me because they're like, oh, it's going down, it's going down. We were talking about this. Maybe it was 90 cents or something to go back under 79. And this is one of the problems with these penny stock plays. Really easy to get FOMO'd into it and just be like, all right, well, it's 30 cents, it's 70 cents. So I'm not going to get hurt. You got to think percentage wise. This was what we were talking about and literally just hit that a day or two ago with a dot, but no turnaround yet. The first day, yeah, the first day was really to look at it was Tuesday, but there's your zone. And again, watch out. As we go into the zone, you could make a run to the hop. You need to see that thing turn around. This is again not my. This is not what I want to spend too much time on, and it really have to be set up with confirmation. So I'm looking at it, kind of a spec play. Not doesn't look great, right? But if this does confirm down here as a speculative kind of turnaround penny play, that has a lot of things. That kind of like a little bit like open. It's more like UEC. A few others that were single dollar, couple dollars, and then we're able to turn off of patterns like that. Not crazy about what has happened with like SoundHound, another AI thing, right back down. You know, we were there 910, went to 16, back to 12. Are these moves sustainable? Not really. Not that's not the kind of action I want to see. Really wanted that to make a run to the 886, but it was a target one rejection. I like here at 13 for continuation, even though it's 12. Really, the number's 13. Got to get HSI moving in the right spot. Speaking about moving, Nasdaq's turned around. What's down here for the day? Let's see. Let's find something here. Nasdaq. Sorry, 5-minute chart. You know, daily's oversold, but here you go. Hourly. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show you guys. We've been dealing with this all week. All right, 4 hour, and it's a 4 hour extended hour chart and a hourly extended hour. You have a couple of patterns. Target 2 is 129 here. 23 129. That's a big number, big target reach. That was on Tuesday. Or was that yesterday? It was yesterday it was hit. Stabilized off that. But now this morning we put in confirmation for the first time and we literally just checked back. So again, another big deal where looking for this retracement, if we're going to find some kind of support, start looking down here. You hit the target, T2 went on. This T2 dollar sign, it's related to the pattern. So related to, look, this T2 signal there reached the objective. Waiting for a dot. So again, I'm looking 23 129 to essentially right here, 23 maybe 160. Big number. That was our number yesterday with the group, 23 160. So I'm looking for an end to this, guys. I'm looking for this to quietly, come back, give me confirmation. There's the 4 hour chart. Whole bunch of dots. It's really not too sloppy even. So another retracement within this uptrend. It's kind of, boring assessment, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at right here. Dot. Let's go stabilize it out and then start to turn around into next week. that was actually this morning for the first time after retesting this. So eyes on that, guys. I'm all in all beyond the retracement. I'm encouraged for what's to come. The opportunities I'm looking at for things to develop into the fall are have big numbers to them. Couple more. We did, yeah, Wayne. We looked at Sedge, UPS. What's UPS is? We haven't looked at that in a while. I haven't looked at transports, railroads. Yeah, that doesn't look like a fun chart. Big pattern though. This is always the case, guys. Listen, when you see a pattern with a T1, I think this is even better, best for like 30-second or 5-minute charts. Let's say that's a futures bat pattern. T1, arrow, and then dot with the line to trigger it. And then you get into a counter HSI, you're always moving stops up because you usually get that deeper test. I mean, it happens on every time frame. I see it a lot on the 30-second. Here it's on the weekly for UPS. Um, I said this when I was finishing last show. There are a lot of big patterns like this, old economy stocks, that a lot of them do not have patterns. Should we ignore them? No. I want confirmation on these. Something like this. Again, this is at what? 10-year support? Okay, probably going to take time, but get it on the radar. I think it also has a lot to do with like the larger picture. Like here's Whirlpool. Okay, perfect example. Do I want to buy dishwasher stock? Well, if it's on sale like this with confirmation as a longer term play, also in terms of market dynamics, I do find it's interesting. We're right back at longer term support down here. And there's a lot of these that have set up like this where I'm monitoring them. Target is another one. Okay. Harmonic harmonic stuff, we've got big patterns down here. Confirmation. Most of them haven't broken out of the downtrend, but all right, let's keep an eye on it. No, I'm not doing anything with Target yet. I know they had some news today. I just find that this stuff looks like it's trying to resolve this multi-year downtrend. What was the other one? I think it was Pepsi. Yeah, there's Pepsi. Oh, that's actually made progress. Okay, here's Pepsi on the weekly. You guys see what I'm saying here? They look a lot worse. You take off the pattern, you take off the uptrend, that would look terrible. If you were looking at that at April, it'd be like, oh man, it's falling off a cliff. No, it's developed a massive bat pattern at the low end of the multi-year uptrend channel. It's got potential. Got potential. I mean, if we come back for the type 2 at 134, I would say you're probably looking at the massive decade-long continuation for Pepsi. Yeah. Couple more. How about what's up? OCOM22 wants to look at Grab and Uber and Instacart, all of those. Yeah, recovery play here at $5. These ones they get me because um, the base takes so long. So the best way to do it is just limit allocation, so you don't feel like you're over allocated if it takes a year to do anything. I like bases. I like trying to get stuff that has stabilized. That's definitely one of them. Of course, maybe Uber or Instacart's better. That's Grab. Where's Cart? Maple Bear. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's trending, guys. That's Instacart versus Grab Holdings. Look, there's the IPO. Did it. XABCD 1618. Go take it a little bit higher. Kind of 1-2 type of thing. That's trending. I mean, that's the difference between this versus a Grab. I'd rather go with this with Maple Bear versus Grab because you've got positive movement. Get it on the retracement. Just I've spent too much time in garbage. I'm not saying Grab is garbage. I just want stuff moving, and we want it moving. We get this retracement, and we do the continuation. The continuation is going to favor the winners. MicroStrategy. What's up, Dr. Roar? Yeah, what's MicroStrategy doing? Back end retest here of the channel. Uh, big prior support 280-ish. Where are we with this? We're at the low end of the channel. That's it. Every time we've hit here since the low, we've held. And you've got HSI. No pattern. I mean, anything on the 4-hour? Oh, we had that butterfly. That's right. But that was the type 2 at 252. That was back in March. I'm looking for stuff like this. I'm down here. I don't have anything to say, okay, there's a beautiful pattern right here. But you are down at that lower end of the channel where, all right, if it's 320 or even 310, somewhere down here. Not yet. I mean, look, Coinbase is the one where on the weekly chart, it's been crushed by the type 2. What's going to end this? Because Coinbase has been the type 2 ever since hitting the hop 416. Okay, that took it down 30% already. What do you need? Some kind of oversold. Oh, look, we're oversold on Coinbase. It's early. Look, it's still early, but that's hitting this week. 3-5 bars, maybe next. Give it the next month to finish this off. What you would want to see? All right, if we're not going to target 2, it is a type 2 on the bat. Are we going to target 2? That would be the minimum assumption. It's either target or first HSI, or especially with a dot. So I'd be watching that in the next week or so. I mean, it seemed like a devastating move, only because I think people thought Coinbase was ready to blast like that. Not yet. Not yet. Look, we're in that late summertime, guys. We just got to let this stuff come back, let some air out of the tires. That's it. Even if it's like Nasdaq this morning, I had like 2 trades, and it got one ran, looked like it really go, and then in the end it was only like 20 something point move, and that's about all you're going to get at this point in the summer. Same with these retraces and crypto. I do find this crypto.com interesting, though. I really do. I keep my eye on it. You guys have to remind me. Bring that back up. You got it. Appreciate that. Appreciate you. What's up, Mr. Vinay Rao? What about Enphase? Enphase, another recovery. Hasn't beautiful pattern. Yeah, I know we looked at that. Beautiful pattern at 31. No confirmation. What's the problem here? Look, the clear downtrend. And this could be applied to a lot of crypto, those old economy stocks. Great pattern. Okay, that's a starting point. But it was a weekly chart. You need 3-5 weeks. Get past that downtrend. Like, put something into the right of that downtrend. Because this just keeps making new lows. And I have this system. I told you guys. It's a great system, but maybe Tesla's going to come out and destroy them with their a new system. I don't know. Tesla, right here at the 320, I've been waiting for 267 on Tesla. This is still my assumption to go 340 to 444 and then, eventually go all-time new highs. This is another one. This is an uptrend. It's still an uptrend. It's just not skyrocketing, but I think that's coming. Is it this year, next year? I think the larger uptrend assumption of that uptrend line is still valid. I don't know if it's I don't know if we're ever getting back to 267. Frankly, I've been waiting for it. What we have currently, you go to that 4-hour chart because the 267 was the retest of the bat. Well, it's probably like 307 now because we popped up latest pattern. What's the most recent pattern? It's a bearish crab. Did a type 1, just reaction. All right, so 307, bang it a few times. Still means we have to do the retest. I'd still be looking for 359 retests within this range. And we're putting in a dot as we speak. 4-hour dot. You got 2 hours to go until that is official, though. So I'm watching it. No, Tesla's not in a discovery phase. Still building consolidation, but you're looking for spots like this. How do we know? Because it happened in July and June and May. So let that, by the end of the day, we'll see if that dot is valid, and then probably looking tomorrow morning for the first opportunity. Go 320 to 360. Maybe that's what we should look at next week. Appreciate it. Yep. Listen, who wants Harmonic Pattern Collection for 30 days? Type in HPC 30, and I'll give away a 30-day package. Listen, we're also doing a week from Monday. I can't believe it's September 1st is that soon. We're doing our strategy session, so you can come to that. Everyone else, if you guys want, look, hit me up on the Discord. Send me a note. Tell me your deal, and I'll set you up. Send your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst. Get with the software. That's what we're working with. Everything else is free. Starts at harmonictrader.com. Okay? Become a basic member. Also, when you come into the Discord, just do not accept anything from a scammer. I do not solicit money. I do not solicit anything. Do not give anybody any money. Everything we do here is free. Just join, sign up, watch, learn. You have any questions, DM me directly. Okay? You got it. Lino, I know you won before, but you can win again. And how about Pure Panorama? I'll give away 2. You guys have to send me a link. Send me your full name, email, and TradingView username on my DM to Discord. Okay? Set me up. Send me a note. That's what I have for today, guys. I'm ready. Still summer. I'm still enjoying my last few days here. Probably one more week and then back into it full swing. I suggest you do the same because I think once this begins, if it's September, end of September or whatever, it's going to be a full time, 24/7 type of run, especially with crypto shaping up to do what it needs to do. Until then, guys, have a great one. As always, go get them. We'll see you on Tuesday. Have any questions, get over to me at harmonictrader.com. Catch you next time.